Welcome back. This is a review of this week's trading activities. On 7/10, the trend changed. We had a target here for half a circle for reflection point, and then we had a target to outreach at 45.50 on the 4-hour chart. This is 1-hour chart. Trend has shifted here for innocent traders to keep an eye on this and take a single biased trade in the direction of the hourly chart. And then we use the balance imbalance indicator and the contract tracker on 15-minute chart to trade these pullbacks. These lines are dynamically shifting, and what is going on is these are the energy lines where market is going to be attracted and reflected from on this time frame. There is a separation of 9 degrees of energy between these lines, so we know where my profit loss and my rolling targets are and how do we manage it. So when the trend changed, we need to look for a pullback, and we use these two indicators to indicate a pullback. Once we go to the imbalance point and we're sitting on these lines and the trend has changed, this is your first entry for an 18-point win. This is taking one trade a day and making potentially the entire 50% of the day move, and you just track your trades. Everything is there: entry, exit, stop loss, multi-targets is all there. If you go back and track the algos on the 5 minutes as additional trade opportunities, so here we have the algos showing up as well, and then we can use these algo boxes, the first box, mid box, and the large box where the trades are getting fired. We can use those opportunities as well. So this was the early entry based on the reflection, and we had the contract ready to blast to the top side, and you can see here algos showed up, collected the contracts, and they never looked back. If you were trading the early morning euro session, this was your trade. Stop loss is just few ticks below this, and this is your range. And we have 3 boxes here. If you look closely, they are the tracking accumulator of the contracts. Algos are showing up here, and algos just keep showing up. Nothing much we can do about it. So there they are, and we put a buy stop right there in the direction of the trend, and you pick a 25-point move. Then our bias is already on the long side. Only if you came a little late, you got another opportunity to go long here. And if you are still late to business, now we are looking for an opportunity at the open. Now this bar is too big, right? This bar is too big. So what we are going to do, and again, if you look at the 15 minutes chart here, we are not going to go against the imbalance which has gone on the bullish side. We wanted to have a pullback. So this is a pullback, this is a pullback. You can see when it goes to the other side, and now I'm looking for the algo box showing up right here, small one tick above this, a smallest entry. We have like a 2-point stop loss, and we get 1, 2, 50, like 12 points. So 2 points, 12 points, right? So 10 to 1, 10 to 1, 10. This is not 10, this is 6 to 1. But you got the idea. And then we should be done for that day. Moving forward to the next day, our bias has not changed yet. And then this one, I think we already plotted that earlier in the trade rooms. There are other opportunities coming up here as we were taking the live trades with hundreds of contracts in the trading pit. We have here possibilities of algos, and we do other energy bars breakdown because we trade heavy. So there we go, everything come together. But our idea here, if you see the trend on the left side is still on the bullish side. This is a pullback right there. We have contract pullback, we have balance in pullback, we are waiting for confirmation. We have it algo boxes showing up here. One tick above that we go long. We want to make sure that at least we have one close above this line. So this is how we manage our trades. I get 10 points. 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 5, and we don't trade again second time when we are in profit when you're starting off. And then we have some other beams coming here. These are called the squared angular beams, and they are designed to predict the pivot reflection points real time dynamically. A very high probability. Everything we do is extremely high probability. So as a newbie, you just need to keep trading in the direction of the trend. Here we got a pullback, here we got a pullback. We showed the first one right here. We all were into it, and there's the second pullback. We were into it, and and this is coming on a reflection point. Pullback on your balance imbalance point, and we took this trade because all these things lined up. All right. Another trade came at 2 o'clock. We had some slight pullback, and you can see it was holding here. You can just see the bar pattern, bar by bar, holding here. Then we got this reflection point. We saw the boxes showing up here, and above this is an entry. So what you can do is you can put a buy stop here, and it goes 9 points, 18 points, and you can do this all day and all night. At least for 2 sessions you should be trading if you want to really make a lot of money. But you should not be trading on night session. It's slow, it still works, but it's like slow. I mean, there's no momentum behind it, right? So you can just see this, right? The algos are making scalping. 4 ticks, 5 ticks, 4 ticks, 5 ticks. They're making the market. But you don't want to be a tick market maker. You will not make it long term. Kelly's criteria. Next day, trend is still strong. It has not changed. It has not moved at all in any other direction yet, and the slope is almost like 80 degrees. There's a huge money flow coming in, which you can see by looking inside the bar, but we're not demonstrating that here. But here we have a pullback on the contract, and then we have pullback on all our indicators as well. These are balanced. This is all supply demand based situation, contract tracking, energy tracking, and here we are. We had our opportunities before they blasted off. You had a box showing up here, right? And then they came back to retest it, and the oscillator, and the pullback, and the trend. Boom. So you should have no loss this week at all. And then we had this beams coming in from somewhere, and then they are what we call as the pivot predictor beams right there. Again, we came back and look at this imbalance hit, and that's why it stopped it. They all come together. If you know the real signs, everything comes together. Boxes showed up, take a long again. That is at 1 o'clock. And I think you had enough money made this day. Next day, which is yesterday, people were complaining about it being a slow day, but yeah, still, but let's go to this day. Bring it down. So what do we have here? We have a pullback here, pullback here, pullback here. I'm looking at this oscillators, right? And pullback here. Trend is also on the long side. So coming into the market at this point, bias is already long, and this was a good trade to take initially right there, and you never looked back. Once you are in the trade, don't be tempted to just take 1 point and run away because you're seeing $500, $1,500 flashing on your face. So if you took this trade, or you took this previous trade, right? Well, first of all, this is algo box is on the downside. We don't want to do that. We want to wait for it to come on the bottom side. It came here. If you got stopped out, doesn't matter. Come back again in right here, and then there we go. And you took the entire 30 points for that day. It doesn't matter if it is slow or not. If you catch the right pullback, right trade, and then we go. Look at here, 36 points, right? That's the key, to try to catch the entire day's range. Okay, right here, this day, today is the good day. Again, the trend is on the hourly basis. We're coming to the edge of our projected target. We shared internally with our pro group and some other retail who are moving towards pro. We shared 3 price target, 45, 50 and some 60 range, and it just went there, right? And then obviously it came back a little bit. So these 3 points were given. It just week after week, it just goes where we say it's going to go end of the week. It does. It doesn't matter where it is, it will end there. And what this means, you can make millions just by knowing that, by putting a butterfly spreads around this. But that is for a different discussion. That is level 4. If you have millions to make and you have a big huge account, then you have to go into professional services, right? This is just getting you to make up to $3,000-4,000 a day, but not from day one. Once you master this, 6 months, you're there for the rest of your life. And here we are. We got a pull back here. We got a pull back here. None of these stopped out. Now, if you entered here, you got stopped out here. That's fine. You enter again. It's early morning. That's what they do. Once you are there, you're just there. But if you look at this pullback on the 15 minutes chart, we had one entry at early morning, 3, another one at 6, and then another one. Now you can see the trend is shifting. Remember, after 3, 4, 5 days, the trend is going to shift, and when the trends are shifting, you will start having some 1 or 2 losses there. Then you know things are happening. But we have other reflection points. We have 7-point formulas to find precisely what are you about to do, when you will do, at what price you will do before it happens, right? It's all about knowing a little bit weekly price level projections, time projections. Then you have a plan. You just can't react, show up for business. You need to know the game plan, and then you have scenarios, if this else scenarios. All right, so we know this is our projected thing we posted. This is where we are going, and this is where it goes. So our job is to just take the pullbacks. Once the low is in, we know the high. Once the high is in for the day, for the early part of the day, we know where the low is, right? And we do it for the entire week, for a month. We can do it for the entire year also, right? So the different cycles. But I digress. Right here is your entry, and you enter, and you are up 20 points. You should be happy. So, and if you're holding all the way from here, a runner, you are still running. You ran one single contract with $5,000 right here. And if you're a 10 contracts runner, if you have a big account, you can do the math, $50,000 right there, just on runner, right? So don't get tempted of, that's all trade management. If you want to trade professionally, you should take some courses on that somewhere. We are not into this, that kind of business. We are into some other kind of business, right? So anyways, now the trend is shifting potentially, and this is where, if this is the high, we already know that 56 and 65 was the range we are predicting it, the high to be, and is there, and we see a big reaction like that, then what we can do is, these boxes which showed up on the top algos, they will be defended. So when it goes back into it, right, this is where we can do short, anti-trend. Same thing here, it came back to this, right? So this is all planned activity. The targets are planned, end of the day, right? And then pull back. pullback. So you guys are Fibonacci experts. You should know this is your 63% or 72%, whatever is the flavor of the Fibonacci from the fake experts. Boom, boom. But there is nothing to do. This is nothing to do with Fibonacci. It is all algos and pullbacks. Because they have to do business. Think in terms of supply and demand. They have to do business. They don't want to, they do business on a certain target. That's all I can tell you in public, and they do business in certain time frame, and then this is where it is. So I think it was a great week for everybody. Super week. Now what lies ahead, you can check it out. We will review again next week. So I hope these patterns are pretty simple, straightforward. Anybody can do it. If you are a struggling or losing trader, this is a great start. Get on to level 1. This is part 2 of level 1. This one comes later. Once you master the 8 principles, core principles of bank and hedge fund trading, once you go through that, you do raw trading. Your mind is fighting to go back to the old ways. Once you break that mold, this is your nirvana systems right there in front of you. And then you just, but again, you need to have context, right? I'm not showing any context here because that is done prior to showing up for business. This is just the execution part of it. The plans are already set up. Thank you so much. God bless.